Hey y'all, happy March. And February was quite the stinking month. It was the shortest month, but it was wild and crazy. I thought that January was a lot, but February really tried my patience, specifically towards the end. Actually, the whole freaking month, let's be honest. But I was able to read 18 books, so that's always a win. It was a little bit of a struggle to read this month at points because well, y'all are gonna be like, whatever. I read 4 5-star books. And when I finish a 5-star read, I feel like it's so hard to pick the next read, right? Like, you don't know what you want to read next. You've just read something amazing. You have to find something to follow it up with. And that to me is so tough and stressful because I needed a good book, right? I don't want to follow up with a crappy book. So alas, we're going to pull out my handy dandy iPad mini. I'm going to pull up Goodreads and we're going to talk about the books that I've read this month. I am hoping to keep more on top of my on my YouTube channel. All right, we are pulling up my handy dandy iPad mini to look at my reading challenge and go through and talk about these books that I read. First up this month, and I'm just going to show y'all something. This is what my book stack looks like. Don't look at that. Oh God. Okay, I can't be it. Vlogging is not for me. Are we noticing this? I have an unorganized stack right here. Let me at least flip them over so I can see the spines because, dear Lord, I don't know how people do this kind of stuff and they get paid for it because they do it well. My brain is all over the place and honestly, it doesn't work like that. So, yeah. Okay. Oh God, not the stuff at the back. Okay. I'm going to edit some of this out, I'm sure. My first book of the month is Right Move by Liz Tomford. And let me talk to you about Ryan Shay and Indy. Stop. Okay. So Ryan Shay is the man we all dream of having. We dream of having him because he is someone that's going to do anything for those that he loves. Ryan Shay. And also, Indy deserves love so much. I'm going to tell you right now, I hadn't read these books because I was terrified that the hype wasn't going to live up to the book. Nope. I was terrified the book wasn't going to live up to the hype because I have so many friends that love them. And I am glad that I had people kick me in the butt to get started reading. And I'll say this, they sent me physical books and I have read them all on my Kindle. But I need to go through and I need to tab all the things that I highlighted because these are books that I want to be able to let people borrow because I love them. And I adore you, Afton and Jessica, for getting me these books. Moving on. I just feel like each book in this series has gotten better than the last. This is a 4.75. And I've been told that book 3 is going to be awesome. And I'm really excited to read it in the month of March. But I love interconnected standalones. So this book right here is doing that exactly for me. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I think at the end of reading all of the books, because I'm reading one a month until we hit May when that last book comes out, I think at the end, I'm going to rate them all like I did for the Never After series, which I am supposed to do on here too. Eventually I'll get it done. But yes. If you haven't read the series, yes. And I have heard people say, skip Mile High. Don't you freaking dare skip Mile High. Don't you dare. Okay? Moving right along. Y'all, I don't know how to take myself seriously. What do people want? Do they want me to be unhinged on here? Y'all tell me. I want to be an aesthetic girly, but that's not my life. Okay, I'm really upset. I don't have this book because I let my friend borrow it, but it was a 5-star read for me. It was my first 5-star of the month. I read Unsteady by Peyton Kryn last month and I freaking adored it. It was everything that I needed in a hockey romance. I gave it a 4.75 because I was trying to be stingy with my 5 stars. And then Unloved came up. I'm going to pin a picture of it up here. I don't know why I'm trying to act like I'm going to hold this. I ain't going to hold this. Unloved came up, okay? And it was a 5-star. Okay. So here's the thing. Okay, it's the best book I've read in 2025 as of February 6th when I finished it because I've read other books that I'm obsessed with. basically, Freddie in the first book is like this party boy that everybody just thinks is like a ladies' man and blah, 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 right? And then Ro is the main character from the first book's best friend. Well, they have both been around the most toxic people, and they end up being not toxic for each other. And I'm obsessed, okay? We have another character who needs people to lift her up because she has always lifted others up, and that is who we have in Freddie. So if you read Unsteady and you were like, ooh, Freddie's a mess. No, you need to read this book. It's good. It's good. I love Freddie. I love that. I feel like in some way we could have like done like some kind of tandem with the first two books because there is some overlapping. And I'm going to preface the end of this by saying I really think the next book is either going to be on Bennett or Torrin. I need there to be at least 4 books in this series, and I need it to be over Reese and Freddie and Bennett and Torrin. Pinkrin, I know you're not watching this, but if you are, can you make it happen? But that is a 5-star book. My friend actually is borrowing right now. She just finished it, and she adored it too. So if you haven't read it, you need to. Okay. Next up. Okay. Now, I had some arcs this month that just like were not my faves. And I hate that because I love these authors. And this one got a 3.75, but it got rounded up to a 4, so it doesn't look as bad on Goodreads, but it's by Jennifer Milliken. It is called Pen. I actually had a digital copy of it that they had sent me, and then she sent me a physical copy. Also, I'm going to say this, but why are we putting real people on covers? And I don't even think he's real. I think he's AI. I don't like that on covers. But I feel like this book had to set up for the next book because they're all taking place in the Olive Township. And I feel like we got backlogged with a bunch of info. And I feel like that's why I didn't love this book as much as I've loved her other books. Because she's written books and I've said they were 5 stars or 4.75s, et cetera, et cetera. And I have other friends that are reading her books and they really adore them. So I feel like this one's trying to set up too much. But I'm still going to read the next book. Jennifer, I love you. So, yeah. But y'all, stop putting people on the covers. That's gross. It's specifically AI people. That's AI, I hope. Oh my God, what is this tattoo? Get out of here. Okay. Holy moly. This has gone off the rails and we're only on book 3. We're only on book 3 and it's gone off the rails. Okay. Next up is Consider Me by Becca Mack. This is the first book in the Playing for Keeps hockey series. I am also reading one of these a month because I want to read the whole series. And so I think it's too much for me to try to like binge read books. So between this one and Mile High, I'm reading one a month. This is a 4.75. I think like after this month, I think I'm like a reformed bad boy lover. That's in this book. Also, let's just pick a random tab. Let's pick a random tab because I tabbed this book. Let's pick a random tab and I'm going to read you what it said. Hopefully it's nothing inappropriate. Yeah, we can't read that. Okay, hold on. Maniacal laughing. Okay. We're going to read this. I can't stand myself. I try to tab things that are funny, great writing, some spice. It's just, okay. All I want to do is thank him. Thank him for letting me know him, the real him. Thank him for choosing me to be the person he does this with. Thank him for loving me, for opening up to me, for being everything I needed and then some. If you haven't read these, pick them up. They are on Kindle Unlimited. Okay. Is anybody even still here and watching this hot mess express? Next is The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. I gave it a 4.25, but I found it so cute that I bought the other 2 books. These are not on Kindle Unlimited, or I wouldn't have bought them. Jessica, if you're watching this, I'm trying to be a good person, okay? I'm trying to not buy things that are on Kindle Unlimited, but sometimes it's hard. Cute book. Writing. There's a writer and then there's somebody that works in publishing. I freaking love books that have to do with books and publishing. I don't know why, but I love it. I loved them. I loved their love. I loved how like he's so grumpy and she's like so sunshine. Like it was like a hug in a book. I'm also obsessed and want to know about her sisters and what happens in their love lives and if they find their people, just because them as a family, I feel like they are people that I would be friends with. I would be friends with their family in general, just because of the warm, cozy, loving vibes they give off. And this book is adorable. And look at this. I'm obsessed with the side right there. Like these on a shelf. So cute. So cute. The next book I read was The Medicine Woman of Galveston. It was 4.25 stars. It was a audiobook on Libby, I believe. It was an audiobook on Hoopla. One of my friends on TikTok, Jamie, had said she read it and she enjoyed it. And I love historical fiction books, specifically ones about places that I know. And I live like an hour and a half from Galveston. And so it was really cool to read this. For some reason, I thought it was going to be about the hurricane, like the big hurricane that happened in Galveston in the 1900s, but it wasn't. It led up to that, and that was such a minuscule part. I will tell you this, the writing was so descriptive and the character development was top notch. And if you want a good historical fiction audiobook, it was great. It was great. 4.25. Next up is Never Stop by Addie Renee. This was sent to me by the author. She is an indie author, and I was really excited for it. I will be honest, it was a 3.25 for me. And when I picked it up, I was like hooked because of the story and what was going on. But I felt like it was so slow in the middle and it just took way too long. And then it got to the end and it felt very rushed. And I find that in new authors, specifically like debut authors, sometimes their pacing can be a little off. And I feel like it was a little off in this book, if that makes any sense. Now, who am I? Nobody. I'm a teacher that loves to read. But to me, it felt like the chapters were too long. It felt like it moved too slow. But she is a neighbor of mine. She is from Louisiana. So I'm excited to give the second book a try. Because, you know, you have your first book and you may fix some things, tweak some things, and the next book has better pacing. So I'm excited to try the next one. I do appreciate her sending this to me. It's on Kindle Unlimited if you want to give it a shot. So hello, my name is Sandy and I can binge a 600-page book in 2 days. Kingfisher! He's my man. He loved Kingfisher. So let's talk about this. I am so sorry if I mispronounce these names because I read this book and I tabbed the crap out of it. And we are going to pull a tab and we'll see what it is. Hopefully it's appropriate this time. But Saris is an absolute badass, and I loved her so much for it. A strong female protagonist is going to get me every single time. And then we've got this broody bad boy who is Kingfisher, who is death himself. Come on. I loved the side characters. I loved the plot. It like kept going. And then even at the end, like I knew there's going to be another book coming out in like the fall, I think October. There was a cliffhanger, but it was tied up enough to where I'm not pissed, and I didn't throw the book when I was done. So I'm really excited about that. I know that there's a lot of mixed feelings on this book, which, I mean, you do you, honey. I know I'll probably reread it, but like, this is 600 pages of awesomeness to me. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry. Okay, we're going to pick a tab to read for me to share that line. Let's pray it's something appropriate. Let's pick towards the middle-ish. Ah, there we go. I have to say I was expecting that to go much differently. And then I punched him square in the mouth. Yes, we love a sassy lady. So yeah, if you haven't picked up Quicksilver, highly recommend it. A lot of people said the audio is really good. I literally, when I finished this, bought a Kingfisher shirt. He is daddy. So I don't really know what to say. I have talked many people into reading it and they have enjoyed it. It is on Kindle Unlimited. Yeah, I won't let you borrow my copy, but you need to read it. So, God, you need to read it. Okay. All right, our next book is Here and Now by Corinne Michaels. It is the second book in the Ember Falls series. I read the first book and really enjoyed it. I actually gave it a 5-star. This one I gave a 4.25, and I'll tell you why. The main character, His name was Miles. He was a high school principal. To me, just the way they described him made me think of some of the people that I know that work in education that are high school principals. And it made it a little cringy for me, especially when he was like feeling all hot and heavy about her. It just, in my head, it's weird when there's books that have educators in them to me. They're either going to hit or they're not. But this one hit enough. It was 4.25. Penny is a badass single mom who is running and hiding from her abusive ex. And I mean, she's a badass. She's doing whatever she can for her son. She has a great, supportive group, family around her that's willing to help her out. And this leaves her a little bit nervous about putting herself out there. And finally, Miles breaks through those barriers. And it's totally worth it in the end. I will tell you, the person that stole my heart in this book is Kai, and it's Penny's son. He is adorable and sweet and cute, and he stole the show, honestly. If I met Kai in real life, he could have whatever he wanted. I'd take him to Target and we would buy whatever he wanted. We would put it in the basket. But if you love a small town romance with a protective golden retriever male main character and a resilient, deserving female main character, this book is for you. It's a good one. It's a good one, and I cannot wait to see who the next book is about. All right, next book this month that I read was Scythe and Sparrow. I actually listened to the audiobook. I had so many books that I wanted to read, and the audiobook I found somewhere for free. And that sounded bad. I found it on Hoopla for free, like from my public library. And I was like, I want to listen to this book. Like, I want to read it immediately, but I was already reading a physical book. So I listened to this. The audio for this was fantastic. Fionn and Rose, they were my favorite couple out of all of them. I mean, Fionn with as tough and as just stoic and just as hard as he was to do all of these things for Rose, who is this out of pocket, crazy woman. I adored it. This is my favorite book in the series. I have also seen, and I don't know if y'all have seen this, I have seen where you can actually tandem read all three books. That's really interesting. Maybe in like a couple of years, I'll tandem read them, but that's an interesting concept because some of this stuff is happening at the same time. I really am enjoying tandem reading books, and I feel like it brings a new experience to reading when you tandem read. But if you haven't read this, I highly recommend the Ruinous Love trilogy. This was my favorite. This was my favorite in the series. It's probably this, then Butcher and Blackbird, and then Leather and Lark. But they're a solid series overall, and I feel like I need a stuffed raccoon. If you know, you know. So this book right here, First Time Caller, I have seen it all over TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. It's out there. People are loving it. I only gave it a 4.5. I think I would have rated it higher if I would have sat and actually read it in one sitting over the course of 2 days. It actually took me over a week to read it because I had an arc that was due. But it got a 4.5. Lucy is an amazing character. I love that she's written in a male-driven field. And I just love how B.K. Borison, the way she described Lucy. Also, Aiden, stop. He is a not hopeless romantic, the opposite, a hopeless, a hopeful. He is someone that doesn't believe in romance anymore. And he has a radio show that's like all about romance. Pot calling kettle black. But basically what happens is Maya, Lucy's daughter, calls into the show and is getting advice about her mom. And she ends up like having this dating show. It is super cute. It's super sweet. I'm really mad that I had to take like over a week to read it because this is literally a book I could have devoured in like 2 days. But the fun part is we have tabs and we're going to see which one I got. You have a pineapple pizza. I nod, annoyed with myself. I do. You said pineapple on pizza is disgusting. It is. Then why do you have it? Because you said it was your favorite, I admit. And I want your favorite to be my favorite. If you want a cute, cheesy romance, like this is it, but it's got some depth to it. So I would highly recommend picking it up to read it. The surprising book mail this month I got was Wild Side. This was another 5-star book for me. I freaking loved this book. Reese and Tabitha were everything. At the beginning of the book, they are both so guarded. And let me just tell you how the book starts off, okay? There may be some spoilers, not spoilers, but if you don't want to know anything else, just skip till you don't see me holding this book up anymore. Okay. But the book starts off where Tabitha's sister passes away. And her son, Milo, has been left. His legal guardian is Reese. Reese, who is her landlord. Okay. But Tabitha's like, there ain't no way in hell that you're going to have my nephew when I've only met you once. Like, he belongs here with family, with me, with my parents. So Reese, is a wrestler, and I freaking loved wrestling when I was little. I literally went to like WWF and WWE with my dad. So the fact that he was a wrestler, just like really, it just added a whole nother level for me. But he has to go, because they're in Canada, he has to go back and forth between Canada and the US. And at some point they're like, you can't go back and forth anymore. And she's like seeing that he's trying, and Tabitha's seeing he's trying and he's doing his best. And she's like, you know what? Let's get married. Then you can go back and forth all you want. This small town. This is Marriage of Convenience. This is Hate to Love, and this is Found Family. Those are all things that I love. And obviously, I mean, I just love how once this happened, once he sees that Milo is going to be with her, he's going to do whatever it takes to make everything okay for them. Like, he will go and he will buy her an alarm for her house. He will see that she doesn't have something or something's messed up, and he will get it for the house because he wants Milo and her to be safe because she's taking care of Milo. It's just this book is fantastic. Now I'm going to say this, and this is going to be like, you're going to be like, what the hell? I liked Wild Eyes. No, I liked Wild Love. I loved Wild Eyes. That was a 5-star. And then I really like this one. So I'm going to say Wild Eyes. Like, you can't beat Wild Eyes, but Wild Side, it's so good, y'all. You have to pick it up. And holy crap, the next book. And I'm going to say this, like, I didn't tab anything in this. I can't stand myself, but all these people are like trying not to spoil the trope that's going to be in the next book. What is it called? Wild Card or something? I don't even know. I suck. I'm awful. There is literally this much of a sneak peek in this. So you're telling me, and by the end of this book, I didn't read this because I'm an idiot, that I need to go back and read this. And I'm still not going to tell y'all what the trope is because I need Elsie to love me and send me more books. But hold please, we got to see this. Hold please, let's see what the trope is. What am I missing? I'm a loser. I can't figure out what the trope is. Judge me if you want, but make sure you have this book pre-ordered. I'm such a weirdo. Next up is this book. I listened to it because it was free on the ALCs for Libro FM. Or I got it with the influencer ALCs. I have a love-hate relationship with this book. I'm going to be honest, when I get done filming this, I am sending this book to someone else. I don't need a copy of it. I don't think the story was for me. I personally, whatever kind of kink they were using, it's not for me. The way they were talking to each other during that time, that just wasn't for me. It's for people. People is not me. I did like the character development in both of the characters, but now as I've watched some people review this book, I like it less than I liked it. So that's really all I'm going to say about this book because I have friends that really love it and I don't want them to be upset at me. But Claire, this will be coming your way ASAP. Alrighty. My next book was also an ARC. It is Taking the Shot by Kendall Hill. It's the first book in the Crawford family playbook. And I'm going to be honest, it fell way flat for me. It was hockey and it was romance, but the guy was an ass and he was so mean. And then he never redeemed himself for me. And then it just got smutty. I read the rest of it. I should have DNF'd it, but it was an ARC. So I was like trying to finish it. So I'm going to be really honest. If you want a lot of smut and you want a guy that's just a jerk, this is for you. It's personally not for me. I like a jerk that has redeeming qualities and like comes around in the end. To me, I felt like he didn't show enough growth. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Next up was the last book in the Never After series that I had to read. No, it's not the last book in the series. It's the last one I had to read. I gave it a 4-star. This is definitely the darkest book. Now, this is a stalker romance. I love a stalker romance. But you know what? What I really loved was Quentin, her little brother, who he's obviously a special kid, and a lot of people didn't have time to deal with him. And I loved how both the characters, specifically the main male character, who was very dark and broody, helped take care of him. If you haven't read this series, I would recommend it. I gave it a 4 stars. Every book in the series was 4 stars or higher. I listened to this book. I don't know if I could have physically sat down and read it. Like, I've read every other book in the series. I'm looking at them and I tabbed the heck out of them. I just feel like with the darkness of this, I couldn't have physically read it. Like, listening to it where I could just kind of tune out the parts where they called him father. I could handle it. But yeah. Also Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's what this one's after. So yeah. You see my stack of books over here? I am so aesthetic. I am so aesthetic. Dun, dun, dun. I would show you again, but then I'll show you my pile of clothes that's sitting over there, and that's embarrassing. The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. And I'm going to be really honest. I bought this because on like our Galentine's dinner with my friend and her daughter, who's in my class in 8th grade, we both saw this book and we thought the cover was beautiful. And then when we read it, I was like, this I could put in my classroom. Also, look at these end pages, like stop. It's so good. It's a 4.5. I devoured like 200 pages in one night. It is like a good mixture of the selection with the enchanting atmosphere of Caraval. And y'all know that I loved Caraval. It was a 5-star for me. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the pacing was great. The last 40 pages were insane. Like, the pace picked up like no other. Yeah, it's really good though. And I'm excited about the next book. I believe it's going to be a duology. I could be lying, totally lying. And I loved that Ivy, who's the main female character, she's just a force to be reckoned with, and she's going to take care of the people she loves. I also loved that she wrote great side characters. I feel like sometimes authors don't write the best side characters. Between her, Peyton Corinne, and Callie Hart, the side characters in these books were fantastic. So, chef's kiss. I'm excited to take this to my school on Monday because I already have kids that want to read it. Next up is From Nowhere by Julie, and this was actually an arc. It's right here. It's a gorgeous cover. I loved the first book in this series. It was called From Air. I gave it a 5 stars. This is a 5 stars. This is a 5-star series. And this is what I want to say about Julianne. If you've never read any of her books, I have now read 4 of them. I need to go through her backlog, but I've read 4 books. Two books from 2 different series. Every book in her series is so different. I feel like some authors, when they've written so many books, that they start copying and pasting and changing little things. No, hers are completely different. This story was heartfelt. It was heart-wrenching. I laughed, I cried. I mean, it's a single dad and he meets someone, and it's just funny because the two of them are trying to like kiss or like do something with each other, and they keep getting interrupted. It's comical at the beginning how many times they get interrupted trying to do anything. The main characters' names were Ozzy and Marin, and Marin is a pilot and Ozzy is a mechanic, and that's how they meet because they work at the same place. The little girl Lola in this book, she stole my heart. She was the sweetest. She's really struggling with her mom had actually passed away several years before in a car accident, and she was in the car with her mom, and she's still struggling to get in a car. And it's just, there's a lot going on in this book, and I feel like, and I said this about the first book that I read, I feel like I have so much going on in my brain with these books that have so much going on. They are like perfect for me because my brain never has a chance to stop and get bored. But I love this book. It's so much different than the first one. I loved it more than the first one. They both got 5 stars for me. Julie Ann can do no wrong. My goal this year is to read her backlist. Like, yeah. So if you haven't read it, you should. It will be out and on Kindle Unlimited March 4th. And last but not least was another arc. It is Never Been Worse. It is book 3 in the Evergreen Park trilogy, I believe. I think this is the last one. It's by Morgan Elizabeth. I gave it 4 stars. It was really cute. It had fake marriages, strong friendships, and a golden retriever hero. The book starts where this girl and her friends where Harper and her friends are going to her ex's house to glitter his yard, soap his yard, and put forks in it. And they get caught and they get arrested. And Wes is the guy that's in the book, and they've known each other through friends, but they're trying to make a distraction from something that's happening in his band that he's a part of. And they decide to do a fake marriage, and obviously they end up falling in love. The guy that her ex cheated on her with his boss's daughter and just acted like it was no big deal and ends up blackmailing her when she gets arrested. So it's just like a whole thing. And her ex is an ass. I don't know how to say it, but he's the worst. So yeah, it's such a good book. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it to read. The series as a whole was really good. I believe I ranked them all like 4 stars or higher. So I would definitely recommend. This is the first series that I had read by Megan Elizabeth. Let me go look because I want to say this right. Okay. The first book was Passenger Princess. And then the second one was If This Was a Movie. And then this last one was Never Been Worse. They were all cute. There's going to be 3 in the series. And that one comes out on, I believe, March 4th or 5th. So it'll be out really soon on Kindle Unlimited. So if you want a cute read with some laughter, with some good, strong female friendships, which I love to read about, that is a good series for you because that theme goes all the way through the series, the good friendships. Well, guys, that is over 30 minutes of me talking. I don't know if you wanted it, but you got it. How much of this am I going to edit? I don't know. There may be some maniacal laughing in here. Yeah, so if you have made it all the way to the end, please drop some hearts in the comments because I want to know who actually makes it all the way to the end. Also, let me know if there's any books that I read that you loved. And yeah, I think that's all I've got. That's all I've got for now. I feel like I've been talking forever. It's been 43 minutes. I'm just telling y'all before I edit this, it says 43 minutes right now. Do y'all understand how much time that is that I'm gonna have to go through? I feel like I love the sound of my own voice. All right. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. It has been fun. It's been fun. And I will be back soon with a Never After ranking, and I will talk all about those books